Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is that the,
Been that way.
oh, has
Alice.
it? Was Alice leaking?
Yep.
It must have gotten warm.
Usually smell it.
Yeah.
Was it leak?
The ballast is leaking. If you look at the light up there, it's slimy.
Oh. Janitors know about it?
It's been that way for years.
Oh. I've never noticed it. I'm so observant sometimes.
You need to stick with me and do some of the work in the place.
Yeah.
All right, good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Tracy.
Morning. Thanks.
Can we get some of these things out of here before we start on Dave? How about the minutes? They were very short.
Yes, I had a chance to read the minutes and I approved the minutes.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oh, I guess I'm jumping the gun. We gotta approve the agenda first.
Yeah, I need to move those back and forth.
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda.
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That was right. The claims, we'll touch them for a little bit, all right? How about that liquor license real quick? That was for
Bloomsbury?
Yeah, you wanna look at it? Well, oh, you got one.
Yep, everybody has one. That's a year one too, not just the.
We did it right. We went outside.
I make a motion to accept the approval of Class C retail alcohol license for Bloomsbury Farm.
And I will second that motion.
Okay, we'll call for a vote by name. Seaman, aye.
Tippit, aye.
Vols, aye. Still got 3 minutes to go.
Well, I guess we can start on the claims. You see anything jumped out at you?
I did not.
I did not.
It
Here,
made
look.
me the bad guy again, huh?
Did I see that Secondary Roads ordered a vehicle or bought a vehicle?
No conservation.
Conservation.
Yes, that's, I only had a question of Haley on that. They bought one with ARPA funds.
Truck.
Yes. Well, this one here, is that out of their regular budget then?
Yep,
Okay.
because if it's under Fund 1, that's general basic. The first four numbers. Under line item. 0001. Sorry, I let you give me that packet. Or- If you go over here, yeah, that's the regular general fund.
Okay. Just out of the regular budget.
Yep, no ARPA.
Okay. And then the only other question I had is on secondary roads. There's 2 of them in there for Berlin Conference registered, 375, and then also another one for 375. So did Myron go along too?
Probably, there's probably
Okay.
2 of them in the individual. Because you usually get individual invoices for that. And here-
Okay. And
There's
then
that.
my last one I'm gonna pick on is here. Take a look at that one. You have Sutton lodging fee, 8 cents.
It's something probably to clear up on their visa.
Okay.
They probably got some tax on something.
Okay,
Yep. So that's through the hub.
okay,
We'll get reimbursed.
okay, I thought that was an awful cheap lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
It was, if you look at the vendor visa, so something must have lingered on the visa card.
Bring,
I'll,
bring your own bedding and towels.
It's not worth writing an 8-cent check to visa, but whatever.
All right, I'll take a motion to approve the claim.
I'll make the motion to approve the claims.
I'll second.
Okay, call for a vote by name.
Tippit, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Vols, aye.
And do the quick one, the ARPA. There was only one ARPA claim. You got it marked?
It's in that folder right by you, Tracy,
Okay.
the Hawkeye community.
Hawkeye Communications for $30,590.58.
Those were all of our panic buttons. we
That's
had.
what I thought. So can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve the claim for the, I believe it's out of the courthouse for ARPA funds.
Yep.
I'll second.
All right, call for a vote by name.
Tippit, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Vols, aye.
You got it.
Just have a resolution. We just got done with our hiring process, and we've selected five deputies we want to bring on. And I think you guys have all the
Yep,
Yes.
names.
they even have copies of the resolutions too. We combined them all, five into the one and just thought it would be easier.
I think you said that none of these individuals have to go through the academy, they're all,
I think one
One-
is going to go through the academy, but we had a really good hiring process, so
that's nice.
it worked out really good.
Yeah.
We're really happy.
Very good, very, very good. And that will start right away?
Their hire dates are on here. If you look at the one sheet, we kind of staggered them.
On the resolution,
It's,
25-9.
Here.
there you go. No, that ain't it.
Got it,
Is
all right,
that-
thank you.
Well, that one has it too, but yeah,
I was looking at this one.
yeah.
Discussion on that? I just had a quick question. Those are replacing the ones that they, that you bought, is that what that is?
Correct.
So that's already budgeted in your
Cor-
budget?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm. You know, like I said, we staggered them, so they weren't all coming on at once.
Be a little rough on our day.
Yeah.
Actually, one's gonna start Friday.
Yeah. 228.
That's in March. Okay. So, you got the resolution, somebody in your hand, for the five?
Yep, it should be
Five
25-9.
resolution, or five new members, in Benton County Law Enforcement, so. Can I get a motion to approve?
I would make the motion to approve resolution 25-9 for the hiring of 5 new deputy sheriffs to fill vacancies.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Call for a vote by name.
Tippit, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Vols, aye.
There's your new hire. How many do you want signed?
And then I'll give Dave one, yeah.
Okay, you guys want to sign? Yep. In your packets?
There's 2.
Okay.
The last one we gotta do is for the deer, if I remember right.
Yes, 2510. So we did pass a resolution to, back, I don't know, the 31st of '24, I guess, to hire a standalone jail administrator back in the jail, remember that?
Yes.
With all the issues with the budgeting and everything, we kind of backed away from that. And we decided to appoint, let's see, promote, we're going to promote Rusty to the jail administrator. His pay will stay the same. Save us about $35,000. So, just from what we've seen, he's been doing a really nice job. So we thought we'd give him a shot at it, and he's doing well.
Just bring me up to speed. Who was the administrator before? And that person left when?
Before it was Lindeman.
Okay.
He was the chief deputy / jail administrator.
Okay.
But I feel like we need somebody back there, so I think Rusty's doing this really well. So, and then that puts another guy on the road for us. I mean, that would have been another full-time position that we would lose, which we think this is the best for everybody.
So do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve Resolution 25-10, appointing Rusty Dennison as the jail administrator. From past experience, Rusty does know the jail business very well.
Okay.
I'll second.
I call for a vote by name.
Tippit, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Bulls? Aye.
While Dave's still in here and you guys, we still done the budget, budget work. I'm just still crunching numbers, but there's a lot of counties currently that are moving a couple patrol deputies into the rural service, or rural sub fund. I just didn't know what your thoughts were on that, because I have to have the levy submitted this week and to the state. Because that would be, right now I'm thinking it looks like we have a little cushion in the rural services, but if you wanted to move a couple of the deputies to save out of general basic. A lot of counties are doing that right now because they're all kind of in the same pickle, getting forced to reduce those general levies, so. So rural services has to be, rural related. And you can't put their benefits out of that one, but or you can't put their insurance, but you can put like the FICA, Medicare, out of that one.
And that's something that in the end that
Saves on the general basic.
saves on the general. It's gonna show up in Dave's.
It's still gonna show up in his budget, we'll just have the 0011, 05
Okay.
line items.
How many are you thinking?
I mean, like, how many do you normally have on patrol in the rural areas in a day or whatever? 2 or 3 hours?
Pretty much anybody that works, I mean, they're not just limited to strictly just a contract town. I mean,
Right.
they do everything. Well, right now, honestly, we don't have a lot in the county just because we're kind of trying to stay above water with contract hours, with being 5 bodies short. So there's not a lot of county patrol going on, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Right now, that's definitely going to change.
And this is for starting July 1. I think.
Right.
So by then, everybody will be up to speed and out of the academy, so.
So
I'd say a couple anyway.
what I was gonna do
I mean, if
is
that's
just
what you're
maybe
thinking.
play around with the 2 or 3, what that would be total wise, what it would look like, and see if that was worth adjusting
We talked about that,
with Farm Bureau.
was it last year, a year, 2 years ago? And then
A couple of years ago,
we didn't do it at that time, but
yeah, but we did talk about it. Because it definitely says in the code that you can do that.
and I think maybe there used to be one that came out of there.
We used to.
Years ago.
We used
I think
to
it was
do-
me.
Yeah.
They moved me to that back when I
Been a
came
while,
to
but
10
yeah.
to 6 shift, remember that?
I'm thinking at least 2 deputies come out of that. And I'm thinking now with your raise with the cities, I don't know how receptive have you heard anything with the letters or like?
They were just curious, because we gave them an hour, we doubled it to 65, and they were just curious, because normally they were just paying, they didn't see it broken down in the hourly, they were just curious how it looked per quarter or per year. That was pretty much their only question, but I think everybody's realizing that that can was kicked down the road for a lot of years and it needed to be raised, and it's honestly probably still a little low, but it's a good, I think everybody was pretty receptive of it, so.
I'm looking at that, you should be able to generate at least 2, maybe 3 deputy salaries off
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah,
For the revenue.
there was one town that talked about, can we have less hours?
That's what I was curious about, since you doubled your hours, and if they had 20, they want to go to 10.
They just asked the question,
Same revenue.
Yes.
they didn't, it's nothing,
Yeah. I'm out of touch with it.
Right now, I'm leaving the revenue based on last year's rate, just until we know how.
Yeah, and that all got deposited back to the general.
So I have that current amount in there for next year, it's basically matches what we got last year.
Current of the 3250.
Yeah,
Perfect.
just because I don't know what's set in stone and, yeah.
Perfect. No. I have no problem if you want to pull 2 out of the,
Look at it, see what it does to the numbers.
Yeah, that's what I'll play around this week and then show you, obviously before I submit anything, you guys have to approve it, so.
to me, it's only fair. On the same token, then, down the road, when you get your deputies, I'm sure the farmer will want to see.
absolutely.
Pickup or a,
You're gonna want to see
Durango.
someone that says sheriff drive by,
yeah.
and rightfully so.
There's always.
You got your allotments.
Right.
Don't
For the whole
forget
year.
it.
And how are you gonna pay them bills from all the other agencies that are gonna build the city there?
They'll build a city.
No, I'm just kidding, I shouldn't say that. Get them all worked up.
Do you guys do that? Do you
No,
bill other
no,
entities? I didn't think
no,
so.
we do not bill, just for the record.
It's kind of like a mutual aid agreement.
Right,
About 30 people watching this on video just blew their heads.
right, that's what I'm saying, we do not bill. It ended peacefully, and that's what we could ask
Who all
for.
did you have over?
We had State Patrol, Iowa County, Lynn County brought a Bearcat. And then we ended up using FBI SWAT team out of Omaha. They came out and extracted him, I guess is the word I'll use.
That'd be interesting to watch.
So,
Scary.
Yeah, fly on
Put
the
you
wall
guys
kind
in
of
a
thing.
bad, scary situation.
It's terrible,
well, when you mix mental health and
whatever else,
some firearms, and it's just not a good situation.
whatever demons there may have been,
I'm glad everyone was safe.
He's safe now, so that's all that matters.
that's what matters.
Turned out the way it did.
How you coming on the Durango?
One is here, or one is here already. The other 2 should be here soon, of the second batch.
Oh, I'm talking the first one. Yeah.
Everything's ordered, they're striped. We're trying to do as much as we can beforehand. It's just kind of hoping all the stars align, because, we got the camera system coming. So we're trying to coordinate with Raycom and GTAC to hopefully kind of have it all come together at once. So, but everything's ordered for the first 3. The second 3, everything's ordered. So, but there's still a 6 to 8 weeks, they're saying, for lead time on any of that stuff. So nobody's nobody's inventorying anything. I think it's just build as you go. Same with radars, I mean, all that. So,
Okay. Now, do you have vehicles for these individuals to drive?
not right now. But they're gonna be in an FTO. I mean, they're gonna be riding with somebody, you know, for the meantime. So, but I mean, we're getting down there where they should be able to start building them, I think, in another 2-3 weeks, I think. That much time has already gone by. So, like I said, we're hoping all the stars are gonna line at once.
How long do you plan on having them doubled up?
I don't know. It's probably gonna depend on their skills. I mean, I think there's gonna be a minimum time, but I don't know. It's probably gonna be on a case-by-case basis. 4 of the 5 have decent experience. You know, one guy has a year, a couple of years, 4 years, 5 years. So it's just, a lot of it's gonna be learning the county. You know, it's a big county,
The biggest thing.
right?
It's a very robust program.
Yeah. So, we're trying to stay afloat. Another thing I had, I think you three should go look at the steps at the sheriff's office. The front, there's rebar showing, there's big chunks, we're gonna have to shut it, we gotta tape it off. It's bad. This last cold spell really busted them whole steps are gonna have to be redone. Like I said, you guys can go look at them and kinda see what you think.
I remember a couple winters ago, I seen somebody,
Went down.
yeah. That was-
Well, it's not just ice, it's, the concrete's actually breaking off, like the whole front of the step is,
We had that going on at the Presbyterian Church, and they put a,
Epoxy?
yeah, of some sort on there. And that,
I don't think that's gonna work on this. Like I said, you got your step, that whole front of that step is gone, and there's rebar sticking out. I think they put rebar too close.
And frozen popped.
Mr. Petermeyer can tell you something about,
And it's all, yeah, you just have to go take a look at it. We
something.
got half of it cordoned off, nobody can walk up there. The west half,
Okay,
it would be.
where the railing is. No.
Opposite, or on the other side of that railing is shut off. But the other side too is, it's getting there also.
The blueprints, I should have something in there.
They're in,
They're on top of the refrigerator, I believe. Is it?
so. Like everything we had replaced out back, Mr. Petermeyer said it was cheaper not to put some sort of chemical or something in the concrete. And he said had it been put in, it would have lasted a lot longer.
Probably fly ash.
He came in and talked to me about
Isn't
that
that what
not
it
too
is?
long ago.
You don't want fly ash.
That's what I'm saying. That's probably what they kept out of it and it'll last longer, right?
You
No,
referred
you
to the
don't
alley
try
with
that.
that, right, Ron?
Yeah.
Fly ash is, no, you don't want it.
I know that. That's what I'm saying. That's
They
probably,
put it in.
oh,
There
okay.
was something
Yeah, you don't
he
want
said
fly
they
ash.
didn't put in, and he said had they put it in, that the outdoor stuff would have lasted way longer without busting. He had a name for it. He'll be able to tell us.
Was
I
it
get
budget
it,
thing
Ken.
that they didn't, was it because of cost that they left it out? or-
It's cheaper,
Oh, was it?
yeah, a couple bucks a yard cheaper.
But you'll see, it's not gonna be an easy fix.
We gotta come up here, I gotta come up here tomorrow afternoon for another meeting. Let me come over and look at the blueprints. I'm curious how thick they are.
Not very.
Black.
Plus there's a crack that goes all, that whole building is, it's got a crack that runs right through the center of it.
Shows up in the jail.
So,
Okay. Let me look at it.
okay.
Maybe we could put a 3-inch lift over everything.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
You just have to look at it, yeah.
I'm looking at it. All right.
I guess that's what you get when you go with the cheapest bid.
They left the one thing that we've always noticed, the original blueprints apparently showed a hot water network out under the ramp coming out of the garage.
Yeah,
That should have been left in.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, was it?
No.
Okay.
Well, that's where we had all the water draining problem that, the man from Atkins, and what he did was a good fix.
On the north side there.
Yep.
Where the walkout door was,
Yep.
but there was water in there, hot water in the cement to
It
melt
was
it.
supposed to. have
It was
been-
in the bid, but I think they pulled it out, is what he's saying.
Oh, okay,
It was in there, but I think it was probably,
all right, because I know when we looked at it, it had fall towards the steps.
Yep.
yeah.
Okay, all right, let me stop tomorrow. Give them heads up at the counter when I come in, so.
Okay.
All right,
I think that's all I got. Unless you guys have anything else.
You come in for the 10:30?
It's at 10:30.
That's when the tech team is gonna come and we go into closed session. and
Oh,
explain.
yes, yes.
Computer
Ben,
guys.
Ben messaged me. He wants me part of that.
Yeah, that's at 10:30.
Okay, here? Okay. All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
I'll be back.
Joanie,
All set?
well, I did tell her a couple of the questions you had on the budget.
Oh, yeah.
Where we increased the funeral services back to 15,
This is just the care of graves added.
and she was okay with that. Did you guys have another question on her budget part last week?
Well, that was about a week ago.
I know. She wasn't able to be here that time you were,
I was just wondering, it's a timed item, is it all right?
well, that, but this is, we're talking budget right now for
Okay.
hers. Was it 13 to 15? you think?
Yeah, yep. And I think we're gonna move that back up to 15, right?
Right.
And that was for general assistance.
Let's see.
Department 19 is that one we were talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got a Department 21. I gotta look for 19. Oh, there's 19 right after. Okay, the only thing I had marked on that one was the funeral services.
Yep.
I thought there was one other thing you guys were questioning.
I don't have any, not on the general assistance side.
Did you have anything for the Veterans Affairs
On the
side?
Veterans side. You've got a grant possibly that's a pass-through?
Yep, the grant comes every year. It's a $10,000 grant.
Okay.
It's usually used for promotional items, education, traveling expenses for education. It can also be used for office equipment and things of that nature.
Rent payment.
Rent payment is for veterans that have hit hard times, kind of like general assistance,
Okay,
but
okay.
specifically for veterans.
Utilities, same thing?
Yep,
Okay.
yep, same thing.
And general transportation,
Mhm.
same way?
Yep.
It's there, there's not a lot of activity in it.
No, there's not for Veterans Affairs. I just took over this position in March, and I've had 2 applications, only 1 was approved. And I want to say the year prior, we didn't have any applications, or any that were approved at least.
So on, and I don't know if, under the veterans, we've got the care of graves.
Yep, And that will be part of the packet that I just gave you that we'll discuss today.
And then under the general assistance, we've got funeral services.
Yep, so care of graves is specifically for cemeteries, for veterans' graves as kind of maintenance. They will send, the few cemeteries that we have will send in an invoice for the number of veterans that they have in their cemetery, and then we pay them for that. Whereas funeral services on the general assistance side, that is for cremation, for those who are not able to afford it. And then, of course, there's a few other services that are included, but it's a set amount that we pay. Anything above the set amount is worked between the funeral and the family.
That is everything that I had marked in there.
One of the highlighted areas I had this one. What have you got, Jay?
I have nothing.
I'm new at looking at everything, so I gotta ask questions, because I don't.
That's fine with me.
Now, I do have a question. I'm one of the county attorneys. These are perpetual cemeteries, right? Or,
So, we passed, no, we don't pay any that are, that receive perpetual care.
okay, I was just kind of curious.
Yeah, we changed that a few years ago, because we didn't have any resolutions or anything on it, and I want to say it was 3 years ago that we came up with a resolution, and we don't pay any that receive the perpetual care.
Okay, I was just kind of curious
Yeah.
because of the code section.
Yep, yep. Are we at 9:45 yet?
Nope.
Not quite.
No, we got about
I didn't know if that clock was on point or not.
Well, we can jump to reports.
I had nothing last week, but I've got some this week.
I did not have anything last week, but I had questions on a bunch of the emails that I received about the ones coming up where we've got webinars or that are like Thursday. Are those all?
Thursday's a big day for that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which ones did you get?
I'd have to-
Sometimes just you get those unless I have to post the agendas for them.
Okay.
So like there was an Eastern Iowa, is that you, trust fund one? I just posted, that's yours.
Eastern House,
Yeah, that one, I
That
just
one
posted
is
that
Easy
one.
Fog.
Yep, so that's this week too, right?
yeah. That's just
But I
me.
didn't, I don't remember any other ones I had to
And
post.
I've got a HACAP Zoom Thursday,
Yeah.
27th.
So it should tell you if it's like an in-person meeting or Zoom.
Yeah.
Or they gave both options, I think.
Yeah, these were all Zoom that I saw, and they were like only an hour and a half, and with the timeline.
That was probably Easy Fog.
Yes.
So you don't even have to do that.
I don't have to do that
No,
one?
I'm one, I go down with them in person.
Oh, okay, okay.
I'm the one, that's, when we divvied out all the things
Mm-hmm.
earlier here in January, I'm the one that
You
goes
got that
there.
one?
If I can't go, then,
He was the alternate, I believe.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
But if you wanted to listen to him too,
yeah,
you
you
could
can.
Well, I thought if I'm,
not do anything.
yeah, just to stay up to speed with everything, because when
Yeah.
if I do have to step in, I don't want to go there and say, I'm just here because I'm supposed to be. I'd
Right.
like to be able to contribute. Was one of those Heartland?
Nope. Heartland, that was last week, they had to Zoom with the insurance renewal,
Right.
or
I
prices.
wasn't able to.
They're having one, I believe, this week, Heartland. I thought it was, over the IT insurance.
The policy stuff.
Yeah, that's either Wednesday or Thursday, but there again, I
That's from
don't,
Judy.
I
Let me
don't
look.
have nothing to do with that. That's over my head.
That might have just went to all the counties with that have them in the pool.
Yeah,
The Heartland, the Tama one is on the 27th of March, that I'll be attending.
Yeah, that's your normal
That's
scheduled
the
one,
normal one,
yeah.
Right.
I did send you guys what that Ryan prepared. So I don't know if that was something you wanted to try to incorporate in this one or wait until next budget year? I mean, is that something you really wanted to?
On the life
Disability.
insurance, disability stuff.
when did you send that?
Last Thursday or Friday? Let me tell you, I'll see when I got his email. Last
I don't
Tuesday,
Recall it.
February 18th, I sent it to you guys.
I don't recall it.
Seems like the clock's going backwards.
Should say life and disability proposal. So, yeah, it showed our current plan, because we covered up to 25K now for a life insurance on the employee. Individuals can add family members at a cost to them. And then the proposed option 1 would to be increase that 25K to 50K. And the other one, option 2, would be the long-term disability, including the 50K life insurance for their amounts. So a 12-month, our annual cost for the employer would be $17,564. Currently, we pay $9,435 a year for all of ours employees. So that would be that increase there. If you wanted to do that additional amount and long-term disability. And I could put that on a future agenda, but just seeing if that's something you really wanted to put in, I would increase that line item to that amount. Which is, let me tell you the difference. And I could think of a few that could have utilized the long-term disability. So it's $8,128.92 more for that additional. And then back to that, health, the sick conversion, yeah, he said that has to come from a third party. They don't do that.
Okay.
And if you look, Bruce is a good insurance guy. So then there was a separate one for just the long-term disability. To me, that one says $17,539. So that must be in addition to not going with that other option.
I think also fine.
That was LTD alone?
Yeah. Says monthly benefit, 60% earnings up to $12,500 when your salary is maxed, reached at $250,000. So it's quoting 148 employees. That's 730. So I guess I'm kind of confused now because I thought that was already. But I think that's if we don't change that original 25K and just go with this as a separate plan.
So the premium increase from 25 to 50,000 on the term policy group is minimal.
Mhm.
And that's actually nothing for that.
Yeah, and that's quoting at 145
Okay,
employees.
so the the LTD is what's going to be carrying most of the premium on that.
Mhm.
I can't recall, is there any disability coverage as well, other than the long-term? Is there short-term DI policies currently?
Well, we have, well, not really, it's through our wellness. That's kind of a lump sum deal.
Okay,
I think it's just like
the-
5,000 a one-time deal,
Like the Aflac or type
Yeah.
of deal? Okay.
yeah. And we did have a couple we know that utilize it and it worked,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
I think they just pay you directly and then that person can do what they want with that money to pay bills or travel expenses for the
Mhm.
illness or injury or whatever it is.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but there's no short-term DI, okay.
No. To me, this one's long-term, but now that you said that, didn't you ask for short-term too?
I did. Just to see, because then, you know.
Yeah, well, he said he's willing to answer more questions, we could
Mhm.
call him, or if you wanted to individually call him,
Mhm.
and give you his number.
Yeah, why don't you give me his number and I'll give him a call and ask him a few
Okay.
things.
I'll forward you his contact.
That would be great. Thank you.
See, you're the insurance guy, you should've never told us that. We're
No,
gonna-
no, it's all, I actually have to meet with a client this week about their renewing their short-term and guaranteed issued life insurance.
Yeah.
But they only have 25 employees, they don't have 148.
Full-time, yeah, because that's just covering our full-time ones.
Four minutes. You gonna leave me?
Yeah, yeah, thank you.
IT sent out a thing that they, if we stop by their office, they can, was that for?
They want you to go,
I brought everything today,
Good.
so I'm headed over there.
I
after
just
the
went
meeting.
through it.
Yeah,
Took me 2 trips to get mine done.
or Ben, they'll be here, maybe they can do it right here for you today,
But I brought, everything I have is, I brought everything that's in my truck.
for the two-factor.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things insurance is gonna force us to do on everybody too.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
I couldn't get into my bank account on here because
Yeah.
I couldn't figure it out. I
Yeah,
eventually did, but I'm like, man,
it's for your own safety.
I get it.
Let's start, Courtney.
All right. So the packet that I gave you, there's been some updates to the Iowa Code Section 35B.17, which is maintenance of graves. As you can see, it's been repealed. We were previously discussing what we wanted to do with the care of graves. There had been some requests from cemetery, I don't know what their official title is, but the ones who are in charge of the cemeteries, to up the amount that we pay per grave. We are actually one of the highest paying counties in the state of Iowa. We pay $5 per grave. After the first paper there, I do have printed out a forum of some of the other counties and how much they pay per grave. Some counties don't pay anything. Some counties pay $3 per grave, and then there's some counties that have kind of a different program where they set up kind of like a grant for cemeteries that need like graves fixed or things of that nature. So that was just something I printed off for you guys to have as far as information goes. The next paper that I have there is all of the information I gathered or could gather on the cemeteries here in Benton County. How many veterans are in each cemetery. The ones that are highlighted are the ones that we currently pay. And then the amount of veterans that they have buried there and the amount that we pay And then the last pieces of information are just copies of invoices that we paid this past year. And then I highlighted on there what they said as being, whether they were perpetual care at one point or whether, what qualifies them, basically.
You do not pay on the Pioneer Cemetery ones though, right?
No.
Those come separate. We usually pay those separate out of the Pioneer
Yep, yep.
budget.
So I basically just wanted to give you guys that information so you can make a decision on what we want to do going forward. Since that code section's been repealed, there's no laws or anything that require us to pay anything, or, like I said, we are one of the highest paying counties right now. If we wanted to keep it the same, we could do that as well. On the agenda, I just put it up for discussion, so no motion or anything needs to be made today. I have received one invoice so far for this year.
Which code section did you say was repealed, which is 35?
35B.17. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I would have made you a copy of it too. I don't usually watch the meeting, so I guess I don't know who all's here other than the supervisors.
Which, I'm just trying to make you have it.
So if I'm understanding this, the rest of these graves or the rest of these cemeteries would have
Funding either through a township or they receive perpetual care. Mhm.
Yeah, 'cause that was on that few years ago when Karen
Yeah,
researched all
yep.
that. So we weren't like double dipping, paying them out of both.
Yep.
Like a township and veterans budget.
And you're confident in the records that were given to you?
Yeah.
That you've collected?
Yeah, that I've collected. So the old invoices that I printed off, if you notice the areas that I highlighted, there are some that I still questioned because it said they receive perpetual care, but not for the soldiers' graves. So that was something that kind of spiked my interest in. We have paid them previously. I don't know if that's still, they receive perpetual care, but they just didn't for those specific ones, seems kind of odd to me, but I don't know how things were set up, years ago.
I saw in your emails, one person actually responded to what we do with the graves that were before anything was set up.
Right, yep. Do you guys have any questions or anything so far?
I was wondering about, would it be smart to make a form that they kinda gotta put in there, if they got any investments?
Mm-hmm, yep,
This was discussed here a year ago.
yep.
They don't call it perpetual care, that individual called it investments. But
Okay.
there's a form that, do they, if they don't have no money, to help take care of the graves, I get it. I have no problem with that. But if they, everything costs more. I'm in charge of, one cemetery by me. Our mowing went up from 5,000 to 12,000 this year. You know, we gotta come up with it,
Right,
and I don't apply for any of this,
right.
you know. It's- But I thought if they could have a form that they could, you know, then again, I guess maybe they would not wanna divulge that information. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I thought it's only right. I mean, it's really peanuts that we're giving them, but.
What the entire cost is $2,800?
Yeah,
And that's for the, on the budget, that's for the care of graves, which,
Yep.
And that's per year, correct? They
Yeah.
get $5?
I think, did I budget 3,000 for that?
My opinion is. we
I should have brought my budget in
not
with me.
One more time.
Lower that or take it.
Kara Graves.
I think it's, you put it down 1,500
what's that?
for 25 and 6 for care of graves. Unless I'm looking at it wrong.
I thought I put it at 3,000.
Yeah,
Cash allowance is 3,000, professional service 2,000.
25, 26 is, let me make sure I'm in the right spot.
21 is.
Veterans Affairs, 21, it's at 1,500.
Okay,
It
that one I
was at
have to,
3,000. We should bump
yep, that one will
back
be
up.
Yeah,
updated.
because the year-to-date activity of 1525, that's not,
Yeah.
that's not current. The
No.
2845 is more current.
That would be the total amount if all of them send in their invoices. Yes, yep,
Yeah, okay, thank you, that was my question.
Yep.
So do you want that increase back?
yeah, to the
From-
3,000.
From the 1,500 to
Yep.
3,000?
I think we should.
Yeah.
Okay, do that right.
I don't think that's something we should pull or mess with. I think it's for our veterans, we need to leave it.
Keep it as is.
Yep. And I don't think that's probably enough, but,
I feel comfortable keeping it, that's for sure.
yep.
Well, and sometimes if they forget to submit one year, then you might get double
Yeah.
ammo too. Because we've had that happen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't have any other questions.
That was my only suggestion is that. if we
Try and
make-
come
make
up with a form
something,
or
you know what I mean,
application, yeah.
I know a couple of these I'm looking at, they used to apply yearly.
Mhm.
And the two that I'm thinking of right now, without naming them, the person that used to apply, do the forms and all that, both of them have passed on.
Mm,
So maybe there is nobody on the cemetery board that does that anymore.
that could be, I'm not sure. I did send out letters to all of the cemeteries that I had information on, so that I could get updated numbers for that. I only heard back from a handful.
So you gentlemen think, keep it as is?
I think keep
I
it.
believe it.
Okay.
If it comes back that some of these other folks apply for money and she needs more, I don't, my personal view is I don't see that as a problem.
All right. Anything else you guys need from me? No? All righty. Sounds good. Have a good day.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
We'll update those amounts and
Yeah,
continue
I'm
report.
gonna, I wonder if I switched two of my line items around is what I did, 'cause-
Yeah, if you want to double check.
Yeah,
that's
and I'll
fine.
email you.
Yep.
Whoever knew that know that cemetery stuff was that complicated. Perpetual care, no perpetual care, investments.
Like I said, it all depends on the cemetery setup.
Hi,
I
Myron.
know the one I'm in charge of. I don't agree with the way they set it up. That in whatever, 80% of the lot sales goes into perpetual care and you cannot touch it. You can touch the interest for operating. You know, so, I mean, you look at it, the cemetery's rich. But, you know, when interest got down to 0.5%,
Cemetery was poor.
yeah. So that's kinda what the problem
And
is right now.
there's nothing in concrete writing that says this is the way you shall set up a commission
No,
for a
no.
cemetery?
No, nothing set up. And like I said, now the state repealed it, that we don't have to do it. 'Cause
Even
I
for the
was shocked
veterans.
How many counties around here do not give
Her
anything?
emails was, there was quite a few that did nothing.
Yeah, that's what I couldn't believe.
I bet people don't even know about
No.
it.
But you're right.
Or they'd want it changed. I'm not sure.
But I know in years past, you know, like, you had cemeteries that did have a lot of money and it was just another
Mhm.
handout to help them out. And they didn't need it at that time, you know what I mean?
Right, right,
But the cost of taking care of everything is expensive right now, so.
yeah. You throw the ratio in
Yeah, yours is,
there. I still haven't heard how much money we have to go towards the repair of the graves that do not have anyone living anymore that can take care of it. Because I know we've had a couple fundraisers, I mentioned that before. I don't know what the dollar amounts were came in, and I don't know where that's at. Or if they even had anybody look at it to give them a cost of what it would be to repair those.
Okay, back to the meeting you guys did Thursday with the Zoom. I better probably put together a quick minute for that too. You okay with me setting it up?
Yes.
I'm just gonna put that you met to discuss the renewal rates. Because I posted that agenda, remember, because you two were in here?
okay,
Because wasn't it only like an hour and a half?
that's fine, but we didn't have our volume on, or we didn't,
No, you didn't participate, but I posted the agenda because you two were
Yeah.
sitting here together,
Okay.
but,
Yep.
so I'm just gonna do a general
Okay.
minutes for that.
It basically went over their
Renewals in
forms and
there,
way of operation.
and how they calculate your replacement costs and stuff.
yeah, there were quite a few things I found that we did not have insured, and things that we had insured that is long gone.
And we had quite a few sheriff vehicles on the insurance, so we took off and different things that we
Yeah.
found out. Just from communicating that. Did
Kind
you
of-
get those after presentations email? I can forward it to you.
I believe I did, one of them had, there was one email I got that had like 5 or 6 attachments.
Yes, that's the one,
Yeah.
yeah. They showed you how they calculated the replacement cost and stuff.
Okay.
Alright, so, send that minutes too.
Myron, we're close enough. Bring her on. I wanted to show you this real quick.
Before I throw it in the wastebasket.
Yep, that's about right. I'm not interested in that part of that machine. What I was interested in, I think it's a stupid idea, but they put gravel in the center of the road and drive on both sides.
Is that the final, or is that just a mid-picture and bringing it to the
That's
center? And
final.
so like I say, we bring it to the center, but then we make a second pass and take it back to the other side, and
I think it's stupid, but I just wanted to show that to you that. All right.
working on getting a final petition contract waiver that needs to go with a seal coat project. But last month, Haley McNulty and Rick Hadler came and presented you with petitions of, I think, 42 signatures. It might be 41 people, just because one of the people on the signatures has 2 neighbors between Pete's Hill Addition and his residence that aren't interested. So think it's gonna fall off and be 41, but, it was mentioned that the Wayne Gibney, Rex Mail, and I just forgot the third name, but, even though they have paid for that up front, 3% was an interest rate that the treasurer and the auditor had discussed as a, interest rate for a current project. What wasn't decided, and I would say that was decided last month when they were here, but what the term would be on that project. I've budgeted for that in fiscal year '26 in my budget that I presented, but the seal coat projects that we've done in the past in the county were 50% of the cost was the county and 50% of the cost was the property owners interested, affected on a project, had the option of paying it back in annual installments over 5 years. Do we want to do that with this one, or do we want to set the term any differently? The code will allow you to go up to 10, I think, with the research that we had done. There was a question asked way back in November, December, I think, when Tracy and I met at Nate's Shed and met with numerous property owners from both subdivisions, Peach Hill as well as Southern Exposure, and the question was, what's the term limit gonna be? Could it be 10 years? I just said that every project we've done to date has been 5. A number has been thrown out between 5 and 10, but it is a term limit that needs to be set by the Board of Supervisors, and it will probably help on getting that petition all signed and the full process going through the proper procedures to set that term here today or very soon. So I threw it on the agenda.
Okay. My feelings is 7 years.
That's your personal opinion.
Well, you're financing it for whatever term period you do, you know, and you will have a few, I have no idea with this many, you know, percentage-wise. I know with the past projects, we'd have a small percentage that said, I'm just gonna pay it up front, you know, and I'm gonna avoid the interest altogether, and I'm gonna pay that total amount up front. With 41 people and my estimated cost for this project, you're talking just under $10,000 per property owner. So 5 years would be $2,000-ish plus interest. If you did 7 years, you're talking, what?
85, I think it was, 87.
1,800 bucks.
Who does the paperwork on
Myron and I will create that petition, contract, and waiver. So that's what we need to finish out drafting that so it can come back for final approval.
that? And if somebody decides that, you know, after year 4, I want to pay that off, they can do
Yeah.
that and say what
Yep.
interest is left over?
Yep.
Yes, they can.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's a spreadsheet that,
we do.
that the auditor has, works with the treasurer, and it shows exactly,
Because it shows on their tax statements then for that special assessment.
I got it.
So
Oh,
that's how we spread it out per
Okay.
parcel.
so it carries with that property. So if a property changes hands during the term limits, that new property owner is going to have that remaining balance to
So
pay.
it's listed on the deed or something like that, that's.
Well, it'll just show right up on their tax statement.
Just on their tax
Just
statement.
on the tax.
We go in, that's why we have to have that, like the individual parcels listed out on our petition. And then we usually come up with the amount, like what Myron estimates the 50% would be, and then we divide it equally amongst those people.
Okay. And if someone defaults on it, it's just like if they default on their property taxes and any.
Yeah, they'll get charged
We'll get it
penalty and
to them
interest.
later.
Sooner or later, they.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna pay for it.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll get, just like if you're late on your taxes, it'll get the penalty and interest tacked on.
So once it's initially done, there's really not a whole lot of hands-on that you have to worry about.
No, I mean, we could track it through the tax collections.
Okay.
We've never had anybody be really delinquent on any that I've been aware of since I've been doing.
No, this is the largest type project we've ever done. The other ones have been shorter in length and less in cost.
Okay, and this will be the same for both developments?
They're working together. It's gonna be one big project in that all parties interested in doing it have expressed an interest in sharing the cost equally.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're gonna include all those onto one document.
So there's
So-
really no, I mean,
We're financing it up front. We are covering half of the cost anyway, so you're talking $400,000+ based on my estimate that you're carrying, for the term.
and they're okay with any cost overruns on foreseen things?
That would be, I don't know if
Usually
they.
put that amount in there, so if Myron's like off, I feel
I
like
was
the
off
county kinda
once.
has to eat it, the difference. Because if we list it
no.
out.
You got your pencils sharpened?
Well, I was gonna say contrary to that, the pencil, with the one that we did last fall, and all three of those property owners just paid the estimated cost up front before the end of the calendar year. One of them wanted to do it that way for tax purposes. I'm gonna have to eat the difference, but on one of the projects that we did in the past, that was the estimated cost with the waiver. The cost was a little bit more, and the final paperwork was figured on the actual cost. The petition, I think, says actual cost. We're estimating everything based on estimated cost, but the final would be determined by the actual final cost. So I can only hope that all the numbers I've looked at are very close to where I think it would come in. I know it figured at doing it our crew, but that becomes too big of a project really for us to do, and that you'd need to contract it out. And so sometimes that cost comes up slightly, and I've taken some of that into account. But,
And there's variables beyond your control.
correct.
I'm okay with the 7 years.
Yeah, I mean, if that's,
The county's gonna get paid regardless.
county's gonna get paid, and it'll give the opportunity to people to stretch it out and pay a little bit less each year, make it a little bit easier for them to swallow, and if they wanna pay it off, they pay it off.
3%.
3%?
3%, 7 years, I'm good with that.
Yep.
Probably be worthwhile to make that a motion. I think it's
Yeah.
said enough
And then-
in the agenda to do so.
Yeah, and then we'll come back with that other when we get it finalized,
7
right?
years, 3%?
Okay,
I'll second.
call for a vote by name.
Tippit, aye?
Seaman, aye.
Bulls, aye.
There you go.
That's all I had.
Thank you, Myron.
I'm just looking at that right now, Myron. I think
One
I'm
quick
late.
question, the culvert that's going in on 30th Avenue, 7471, is that one of your projects?
Yes.
Okay, because I figured it was probably just waiting for the ground to thaw before you can finish it.
Steel rebar didn't get delivered the day before it got cold like they were hoping, and it came in recently, and they poured some concrete yesterday, and they'll pour some more this week.
I
So.
saw that, you guys were in charge of that and know what's going on, so, well, thank you.
Yep. You want this back, Tracy?
No.
I got that in the mail too, I think, so.
I think we get it every year from that company.
Yeah, probably.
Would that lessen the complaints if it was done in a different manner?
I think it would take more gravel to do that.
That's kind of the thing, this company makes, you can take a look at it. The other pamphlet, he had more pictures of it. When you pull it with a pickup or a bigger truck or anything, and, one of the deals that in the pamphlet there, they put the, shoulder rock in the center of the road, and you drive on both sides of the shoulder rock.
'Cause I have had a lot of people, and I have to tell them straight out, I don't know anything about maintaining a gravel road, but we can sure ask some questions if there's an alternative method of doing it, because they just really seem to not like the borrow pile.
Well, one time when it's on the one side of the road, it's fine, and when it's on their side of the road, it's not. I used to go out with a rake and just rake it down. I mean, what else is it?
And then I had somebody wanna know why we didn't try to reclaim the gravel out of the ditch.
Along this same line, I brought this up before, in the fall, we went through this. And also, I tried explaining to Myron that I went up to Buchanan County. And boy, they really do a good job up there with the gravel roads. But I know it's Amish country and stuff, and it might not get a lot of heavy truck traffic or everything. But other side of it is, it's very well maintained. So I said, I suggested then, why don't you have somebody run up there and take a look and see what they do differently? Because they're doing something different. That's all why I suggested. But he didn't seem to,
I'll make a drive.
more or less blew it off.
What county's that?
Buchanan.
Buchanan?
I'll just drive up there.
Yeah, it was up around the Amish country.
Yeah, because
I know
they have to
that.
have room for the horse and buggies to be out on the side, don't they?
Yeah.
I know like the dirt roads back home, what excavators do because of the gravel and stuff is sometimes they run them on the ditch and throw them back up and then level it out with the, which sometimes is good and bad. Cause it pulls up the big rocks too.
It's just, I don't,
I don't know, that's just a,
with the price of gravel and the price of machines and the price of paying people to do it, it's cheaper to buy gravel. It's gotta be.
I don't know, with all the stuff you're gonna pull up out of that ditch besides the gravel, all the grass and all the garbage and all the other stuff, that people get upset about having that on the roads already, on occasion. Concrete, everything.
it could just be a shoulder too, just push it from the shoulder back in. Cause a lot of times it just gets built up on the shoulder so bad that when you pull over for somebody else, then you have to be careful. I don't know.
Said it before, in this room, I've never run a road grader.
Nope.
Don't have a clue how it's done.
No.
All I can do is ask questions.
Allison's coming?
I don't see anybody else here. I'm not sure. We are meeting with you this morning, am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I talked to Allison yesterday, she said that she's.
2 minutes.
Otherwise, it looks like Phil's to stand in.
Okay, but I have no paperwork, nothing.
Okay,
I don't either.
well, we'll give her a little time.
I presume she's on her way, I don't know. You know, she drives bus and maybe something happened this morning, who knows?
I drove a bus, nothing came on the radio that I know of, so, other than that, it was slick, man.
Well,
that
that's
was-
good.
Oh, yeah.
It was slick.
I guess I can report a little bit on the landfill I had Thursday night. The lagoon that they wanna build is gonna go out for bids now, so that'll be advertised. Oh, probably in the Des Moines Register, Cedar Rapids Gazette, besides online.
Just seems like we did that. Doesn't
This
it?
is lagoon, this ain't the,
Oh, where the, what do you call that other thing we did? The,
yeah, garbage pit,
yeah.
So,
yeah.
something else I don't know anything about. I'll be right back.
Derek, you're just sitting in on the meetings today?
Yeah, there's just a couple things that came up, like with the grave stuff.
Okay.
And I just did a quick search to kind of help her out.
Okay.
And so we're gonna
I
probably
guess her
continue talking.
paperwork's back there.
But
She
also
just came in the
too,
door with
we were talking
a
about
couple of sandwiches.
because like closed sessions, how they particularly are, it might not be a bad idea. For questions within it.
Found paperwork,
Okay.
Phil.
Okay.
Okay.
You know what I mean, so,
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have one here.
yeah, cause I'll just sit like a fly
Cool.
on the wall. It's just,
Good. That's good.
I've had to put out a whole lot of fires. I'm up.
You,
Okay. So, this is the paper I need you to sign before I leave.
okay,
I'm guessing
Ron,
something in
just-
there.
got it.
You're pretty straight faced.
So, you obviously know who I am. I am here to give you our annual report for Historic Preservation Commission. Would you like one?
Oh, sure, thank you very much.
This is our report that we have to submit to the state by Friday. It lists our activities and, well, flip through it if you want to. Like, one of the questions is, did your commission undertake any nomination projects in 2024? Basically, it's, what did you do in 2024? Two of the things that we need to do every year is the commission members need to be educated, so we have to attend training. And then the opposite side of that is we always have to have a public outreach event in order to stay, current's the wrong word. If we don't do certain things,
Legal, stay legal.
yes, then we are put on probation. And
Which, in fact, the Historic Preservation Commission was on probation when I think both of
Close
us
to 10.
joined, or,
Close to 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I've been on it since 18.
Was it something, was it filed or?
Yep. This report was not filed and they weren't doing the activities they needed to remain certified. So that's, I mean, we like to do outreach activities, but one of the main reasons we did the flea market downtown was to fulfill our outreach requirement. We also have to submit a plan of work every year. And then when we do our next year's report, we have to evaluate how much stuff we got done on our plan of work. I can get you copies of that if you're interested. It is one of the little tiny pictures. And I figured out how to beat the system. Remember last year I couldn't get it all printed out for you? I submitted blank pieces of paper. So as long as you fill every slot with something that you're supposed to upload, because that piece of paper will complete it. I stuck in a blank piece of paper, so it thinks it got it, so then it will give me this. But it won't give you this until you've stuck something in everywhere it needs. That's only taken me 7 years to figure out.
Shouldn't have to be that hard. Just easy to print.
I learned it's called a placeholder.
Oh.
Is there any questions you have for us?
What are some of the activities you got scheduled for upcoming summer?
This,
Just off the top of your head, you know.
okay. This next year, Preservation Iowa Summit is
It's the
June
last,
5, 6, and 7 in Muscatine.
yes.
So that's where we'll go to get our education. And, they would like to do the flea market again because everybody that, I wasn't there that day, I was driving for marching band, but it's my outfit. Everybody, you were there.
Yeah, it was a good day. People enjoyed it. There were representative vendors and people from throughout the county and beyond who came and enjoyed the day.
This is something I found. It is out of date on the fact that it's a CLG coordinator is Paula Moore down here. It's not her anymore, it's Allison Archambault, but I couldn't find one that looked like this that had her name at the bottom. It's just a one-pager of what we do and why we're here. The other thing is, when you find it online, it's green, so when you print it out, it does this goofy grayscale. I think we've seen this one before. On a side note, yes, we did get the grant.
That was 2,000, 2,500?
The grant,
Yeah.
I don't have that with me. It's in the bag in the car. I was trying to,
So that's the one we put out of that Fund 3, right?
yes.
Okay. 'Cause
But-
I think I put 10 in there. Does that cover it?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I think the total grant's like 5 or less,
Okay.
meaning
If you could give
with
me
our
that,
side.
then I'll tweak that.
It's
Okay,
in the
that's
car.
fine, or just follow up with me
Well,
with an email, would be great.
I didn't want to get held up out there because I was coming in hot at
No, that's
14
fine.
after, so I
You
left
email it to
everything
me
in the car.
later, then I can adjust that.
I have a bunch of stuff I have to drop off at the office for payables, so I'll just take it in.
Okay, that works.
So we got notified, part of the reason we didn't figure it out is they notified Rick Primer the 15th of December because he was the one that was chair last year. So he's the one that we put on the grant. So he was notified the 15th of December. Never said anything. So when we got to January something, I emailed Allison and I'm like, do we know? And she's like, yeah, we sent this to you, 3 weeks ago. So now we have changed it and you're on there. So you should be getting some of the emails. But we couldn't say anything until they got the press release out. That has been out. We were actually contacted by KXEL. That's that email you forwarded to me, asking questions about it. And I've got an email sent back at the moment. We may get on KXEL about this workshop at some point, which I think is sort of neat. The next thing in the process is they'll send us a notice to proceed and we'll get a contract that I'll need to bring in and have him sign. And then from there, we have to send out an RFP for a clinician and so on and so forth. We were originally planning on doing it in May, but this has been knocked back so far that there's no way we can get everything we need to done by the first weekend in May. So we're thinking August. And the grant that they give you, since it's a 1.5-year project, so our final report has to be into the state by June 30th of '26. Even though we applied for it in September of '24. They give you 1 year to do whatever you're doing. Our project is relatively small. Some of the other projects are like $30,000 and $50,000 to do surveys and all sorts of other things. Ours is pretty simple. But I think they only gave out 6. And I think they split 90, well, they didn't split it. Between all of us, it's $93,000. And like I said, ours is like 6,000, so. Ours is really nice and easy. But we got our name in the paper for a good thing.
That's always a plus.
Yes.
Any questions, you gentlemen?
No, I'm gonna have to read through it, this more carefully,
Yeah.
know where our role is.
Do you have anything that you have your eye on, like properties that you want to see become part of this, or?
We are always looking for properties to add to the National Register.
I didn't know if you had a list of the ones you know, that
We do have a
We're-
list, yeah.
Yeah.
you do have one, you
Yes.
just kind of.
Well, and we're always working on more.
Yeah.
And like one of the things we need to do, the Vinton Historic District has been a historic district since 12. But people have torn down carriage houses and put up garages and added this, and so there's 150 contributing structures within that historic district. It's our job to go through that and figure out this many years later whether that contributing carriage house is still there or it's been replaced by a garage. I will fill you in on one thing. You're probably the only one that was on Board of Supervisors. Remember my pond? The archaeological study that was done at my place for the pond, Bear Creek Archaeology did that. One of the guys that works there decided to use Geneva, which is the ghost town I own, as his graduate project. And he's been working ever since then with this graduate project. I think it's to get his doctorate. But by the time he gets done with that, I should be able to use all the information that he has garnered to apply for a register nomination for an archaeological site. I think that's sort of neat.
Yeah.
Well, I've always known that the town was up there, but what I'm getting at is didn't think anybody was interested in it. And so now this person from Cresco is like, hey, I'd like to use that.
Yeah.
When
And then
What's the
there,
name of the town, Geneva?
Geneva,
Geneva.
established in 1855.
it could have
Still
been
in
the
our
county
plot
seat.
book,
Yep.
We could be meeting there tonight, today.
Yeah,
Really?
Yes.
it missed the county seat vote by 2 votes, is the story. But when they were doing their archaeological whatever, I have 3 boxes of stuff because they had to dig it up, sift it, and identify everything. I mean, they found you name it in there, and normally takes a week to do one of those. Mine was about 6 because they kept finding more. And they had to mark out everywhere that was archaeologically significant. You know, you can't dig this here. We had to move the spillway to the other side of because they found something. But one of the things they found was a chicken ulna as they were digging, the arm. One of the bones in a chicken arm, about this big. But they identify the different kinds of shale and rock, and my archaeological study is that thick for phase 1. It's normally like that. He wants to come out and dig more. I find that exciting.
Look that up. Read more. I didn't know it existed.
So Google Geneva, Benton County, or you'll get the Geneva over there in whatever county that is.
Okay.
Ackley, Geneva.
Yes.
Hardin County,
Okay.
Pardon?
I think so.
So you want the one that's in Benton County?
Okay.
It's 6 blocks.
And it is plotted out.
Yep. It's at the
Or
corner of
was,
19th
or
and
was.
62nd Street Drive. technically 19th is York Street. Anyway. What?
In the old days.
Yes. The stones from the church are still on the hill. So,
Which brings me to a topic. I understand, I heard recently that an official here in the county does not want historic signs put up. And there is a historic school building in the northeast part of the county. Someone is preserving it as we speak. And he would like to have a sign put up. It's an identifiable country school and a wonderful example of the kind of country schools that used to populate all over Iowa and so on. And apparently some official for our county says you can't put signs up. And I don't understand that. When I lived in Henry County, the Henry County Historic Preservation Commission put up about 20 or 25 signs for all kinds of things. Like here, there were a lot of little towns that were mainly a grocery store and a blacksmith shop at some corner and so on, don't exist anymore. But the Historic Preservation Commission put up a whole series of signs in Henry County identifying those locations. I'd like to see the same thing here in Benton County. I think there's a lot of neat historic stuff. Geneva would be one of them.
it's when you drive down the highway, you see historic marker or historic something, and there's an arrow going off. I see it when I drive down to Centerville.
I very often fill in as pastor at Jubilee in Buchanan County and Jessup. Jubilee Church is located about a mile south of the community of Jubilee, which once had a blacksmith shop and a general store and maybe a hotel and so on and so on. It's at crossroads right now, and it is identified with a sign. It's a three-corner highway that comes, intersection. But they do identify it. This used to be a town. And I think it's kind of neat. I appreciate every time I drive by that place that somebody did that. I'd like to see the same thing here in Benton County. But apparently, as somebody says you can't do that, what?
Can we
Tell me,
investigate that?
what is that all about? Why wouldn't we want to celebrate history? We have signs for pioneer cemeteries.
I see a lot of those.
Why wouldn't we want to identify towns that once, or whatever, historic sites that once existed?
I see no harm in it.
So are you good with us investigating that?
I mean, people used to give directions, we'll go down there where the old
Yep.
church used to be and turn left, well, now there's a sign.
Yeah,
It used to be a
yeah.
church there.
Yeah.
I don't see it all.
This could be a project for historic preservation for the next few years.
Yeah. Say, dig in.
And if you give it a little bit of publicity and, some follow-up, and people actually do travel and come to places like Benton County and spend money and, look around and what have you, and so on.
I don't know if you have a list of that stuff as well.
We'll work on that.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
What I need from you is,
We need to make a motion to approve the annual report for the historical preservation.
I would make a motion to approve the report as given by the Historical Preservation.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, call for a vote.
Tippit, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Bulls eye.
thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
I will run to my car, grab that piece of paper and bring it in.
Okay, I appreciate it. If we're in closed session, you can leave it out there.
Okay.
Thank you.
It should take like 2 minutes.
Okay.
motley crew with it.
Yeah.
My apologies, we're not good looking, but we did try.
I've known these gentlemen for quite some time, a few of them, so. When I was the BIS real estate deputy, that's where I got to know a lot of them, and they're the ones that come and help hire Ben and do our assessment too.
Do you need a,
Back in 16.
do you need a clicker?
There's like a whole bunch of weeks.
I've got one. Unless you're in talk, so.
Okay.
Where do you want me up here?
I don't worry for you folks.
I'm not clairvoyant, I need to be able to see it.
Morning all. We'll get this show on the road.
Did you guys want to go into the closed session too?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Do we need to go into closed session?
Yeah.
You will.
Yes.
And the co-
estimate the time for closed session?
How long is your presentation?
You know, with questions and stuff, I'd say give us an hour. I would hopefully, or half hour?
Can we have public comments before that? And that way I can go.
You guys take whatever time you want to.
Okay.
Okay, well, I have a concern, and I've got a handout here, I didn't write the handout, but I'd like to give to you. What is your knowledge of Senate File 367? That they're trying to take away the county's rights as far as wind energy.
Yes.
And I know you've got a good plan here, because Tracy, I called you, I mean, I live just up here in Harrison Township, but I have land in Buchanan County, and I became very involved in it, but here's just the basic of this, and I'll get out of here quickly, but, and I didn't type this, this has got some aggressive words from a gentleman that is a little upset, because we've spent 2 years in Buchanan County to, excuse me, I got a cold. In Buchanan County to keep the turbines out of there. The scam. Anybody else want a copy? Would you like a copy? Sure. So, anyway, the basis of this is that if you look down in the middle of the page, it talks about this bill is saying that communities, or counties basically, cannot deny any commercial wind energy company building permits. And like I said, your plan, from what I understand, is very solid, but this will throw that all out. And then you cannot limit the number of turbines. And for example, like Adair County has 532 turbines in it. You can't use CSR, which in Buchanan County, that was the big thing that kept the turbines out of our county. And you can't require a distance of more than 3 times the height. You know, sometimes the blades are taller than that. I mean, I know that the water tower close to the county courthouse in Independence is, just that water tower is the length of one blade of the 582-foot turbines that they wanted to put in. And then you can't require a distance of more than 1 1/10 of the height of the turbine for the neighbor's property line. So it affects the neighbors, it affects the habitat, it affects human health. I mean, I've done a lot of research in the last 2 years. I spent a lot of time on this. And it's not good. It's not good for us. And so the thing is that call down to your legislators and get this bill stopped.
I have been bending their ear already.
I assumed you would after I'd talked to you before, but, so anyway, I just wanted to know what the stance was, if you knew it. And of course, the turbine companies, the wind energy companies do things, you know, they get leases before anybody in the county knows what's going on. If you can't be upfront and about things, something's dirty. And the company that has done the solar panels and is in charge of, owns Dwayne Arnold Energy, that's the company that was trying to get in Buchanan County. And if you research them, they're not a clean company. Within the last 15 years, they've spent over $30 million in fines, from nature to OSHA to all kinds of stuff. So anyway, I'm a little excited about this because
we're up a creek without a paddle if they get this passed.
Are they still trying to sell these wind turbines as green energy?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Which is the farthest from the truth.
Yes. In my area up there, just about the Harrison Township, we've got 8 people that suffer from migraines. And the wind turbines are known to, all that flashing, or the humming that you don't know, the electric pulses that, affect animals, the habitats. We have animals that leave because of this. It's one of the biggest scams in my lifetime.
Amen.
So, anyway.
I can tell you that a lot of the stuff back home, they do it for tax reasons because of the carbon tax.
Yes.
That Obama put in place long ago. And I've known guys there, they say, as soon as it hits midnight on the 31st of December, they stop. Because for those reasons.
Okay.
Warren Buffett, one of the richest men that we have, Berkshire Hathaway owns half of, or more than half of Mid-American, said the only good reason for wind turbines are the subsidies. If we didn't have subsidies, we wouldn't be dealing with this. And now the disposal's horrible. Mechanicsville, I don't know if you know that, there was a farmer there that had 2 or 3 turbines on their property. I don't know how they got hit by lightning 2 or 3 times. The blades are with the fiberglass. They lost a crop because all the fiberglass that was there, and they can't farm that land. And how many years is that going to be? And there's even if you look at New York, there's a person that had a turbine, same thing with the fiberglass. It's been 5 years. The companies don't. I mean, here's how bad it is. And there were several acres that were involved in the Mechanicsville one. Is that the company was out of Chicago, and they came with 3 wet and dry vacs to get rid of the fiberglass, and the fiberglass extended over several acres, and they've only done a limited amount of things, and it's just not good, and it's not green because it takes 170 tons of coal in order to first make the pedestal for these things, and there's nothing green about it, and there's only a few people that get a lot of money, and the jobs. How many restaurants, the things that they use as far as the economy is not truthful. So anyway, I'll shut up. I just wanted to know, and hopefully that we will contact our legislators and we can stop that, because it's going to hurt us all, animals, habitats, and people. So, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry for the quick thing.
I have a motion to go into closed session, and then you'll have to read the code itself, please.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Iowa Code 21.5, Section 1K, to discuss records contained in custody of the governmental body that are confidential, Section 22.7.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I will second that.
All in favor, by name?
Tippit, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Bowles, aye.